Stream of consciousness. Let it fly. It is what it is. Fuck YouTube. Free thought. Maybe talking some truth, maybe talking some shit. Opinions that matter, opinions that don't even fucking matter. Well, there's only one way to sum this up. This YouTube channel, it's whatever. And that's the way I like it. Don't be scared. Just fucking build. You do realize that nobody is biologically black, right? Like, that's why the 1% rule or whatever that was stupid as hell. But as long as someone kept that lie alive, then it became something people actually believed. I think the rule was if you had 1% black in you, then you're black. Meanwhile, in reality, there's no black blood. You understand? There's no blood that's the color black in human beings. They simply found you to have genetics of African or sub-Saharan African descent. That's all that 1% rule was. That was early DNA. You understand what I'm saying? But since it's American programming, you are going to be called a color. You're going to be called black. But meanwhile, if you were in Africa, you'd be called African. If you want to really get hip to this whole black facade, notice something. Notice how everyone else in America is called by their place of origin. Indian people, Jamaican, Irish, Russian. You understand? You can run it down the line. But predominantly, African Americans are called blacks. Now, again, to be clear, this is something that was actually programmed into a certain ethnicity. That's exactly what it is. It was beaten into them. You are black. You are a nigger. You are a Negro. You are less than human. This is something that was beaten into them. You understand? But at the end of the day, it's a color, a descriptive term. It's not real. It's not the reality. But if you beat the lie into people, then they'll accept it. Just as long as the beating stopped, they'll accept it. You know, even Caucasians don't have to be white. They can say Caucasian, which points to an actual location on the planet, the Caucasus Mountains. You understand? Location. Meanwhile, check out this old map. This is real now. This is Negro land. Now, this was done by a European cartographer. He said, oh shit, they all look like the color black, and there's a whole land of them. Meanwhile, the actual humans there, they ain't looking at each other saying, yo, you black as a motherfucker. That's literally the pot calling the kettle black. They're not gonna do that. Africans, back in those days, it was tribal. You were known by your tribe or your birthplace on this huge continent called Africa. But Europeans, well, they look like the color black, so that's what we're gonna call them. These dumb motherfuckers at the time. You know, even the Greeks, they used the word Aethiops or Ethiops to describe the people of sub-Saharan Africa. It meant burnt face. That's what it meant. Again, descriptive term, not the truth. These are not people with burns on their faces. They'd be disfigured. Now you see how Ethiopians are so called. That's how far back this bullshit of black human goes. Even Sudan alludes to the dark-skinned people there. Sudan, look up what the word means. It's a descriptive term. Zangistan, that's Persian, means land of the blacks. Again, descriptive term. Now, let's get to some more stupidity. A few years ago, I'm hearing about the word Negus from the Semitic Ethiopian language. Now, this is old shit. This is a title for royalty, all right? So word on the street is that the derogatory word nigger used by white people and slave masters and so-called blacks today actually comes from the word Negus from Ethiopia. Basically, I am going to believe that the same Europeans who made a map of Negro land would take the time and brain power to study the ancient, and I mean BC, Semitic language and say, oh shit, Negus means royalty. Let's flip that shit into the word nigger. We can't have these Negroes knowing this kind of shit. You understand? This is what I'm supposed to believe, that the Europeans had that much type of time and brain power. Meanwhile, the word Negro goes back to the 1500s. And that map, Negro Land, was made in the 1700s. Which do y'all think was easier for Europeans or any human to do? I'm gonna say it again. Negus was BC. Meanwhile, the word Negro goes back to the 1500s, and the map Negro Land was made in the 1700s. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you really think that white people, so-called, went all the way back to the ancient Semitic language and found the word Negus and said, oh yeah, we gotta make sure we mess with this word so black folks won't know they true, all this other bullshit? That's what you think. Nigger has no ties to Ethiopian Negus. Nigger is still a derivative of the word Negro, Latin for black. But I'm gonna give all of these so-called blacks points for trying to turn a negative into a positive. See what I did there? Besides, Negus was for royalty. If every so-called black man and woman comes from or is royalty, then what the hell do y'all rule? Where is your kingdom? Or is it a kingdom of your own mind? You don't look so royal with your pants hanging off your ass or on the ground bleeding from bullet wounds. I mean, that's just, I'm just pointing out the obvious. Negus, you understand? Jesus, man. You know, that's how fucked up the so-called black shit is. Some of y'all will find any reason to hold on to the word nigger. So y'all found an ancient word that even sounds like the word niggers. Negus. You know, I bet if a so-called white person said, how you niggers doing? Y'all would lose your mind. He just called y'all royalty. Plural. Come on, humans of black culture. Humans of black culture. You gotta wake up. You gotta wake up. Again, black culture is real. African culture is real. Africans are real. You are humans of African descent. You are African humans. You are African Americans. Wherever you are, if you are dark-skinned and you happen to be in Ireland, you are still African. You are just an African in Ireland. That's it. But you are not black. You are not a color. You should not allow yourself to be reduced to a color. The color black human does not fucking exist. But black culture does exist. African culture does exist. Black culture comes from the direct opposition to white culture that was thrust upon the people that they brought over here and the people that were already here. That is white culture. That's what that is. And the minute they called anybody black is when black culture began. And we thrived in black culture. We made a shit sandwich into something delicious over time. That's what black culture does. You understand? Let's look up some more terms for human beings, but again, so-called blacks. You have blackamoor or Moors, again, descriptive term. Look them up, talking about, yet again, the dark-skinned people from a specific place. You understand? Why don't they recognize your origin? Why don't they recognize your origin? Why will they just not recognize this dark-skinned human being's origin? Why won't they do it? You know, it's partly due to willful ignorance. And also, if you have no origin, then your present becomes your origin. That means that as time goes on, you make up your origin as you go along. That sounds familiar? That's your American black once they were brought here. And generations of these same so-called black people have been wondering their origins, their true family history ever since. But they know one thing. They know that they black. That they know above all else. They know that they black. They don't know shit else about the history, but I'm black. Because it was beaten into your fucking ancestors. And it's still being done so today. By the TV, phone, and each other. It's on auto mode. Here's something to fuck up your mind. Since so-called blacks found a way to call yourselves colored, a derogatory term, mind you. You do realize that most so-called white people are actually shades of pink or even a little bit lighter than that, right? Yeah, actual white humans. Like a sheet of paper, they don't exist. White is the reflection of all color. Black is the absorption. White is light, like a flashlight bright. can't see, no color, radiance. Not even albinos are white because you can see them. They don't hurt your eyes. You can see their pigmentation. You can make them out, their facial features. They are pale or even the highest yellow, but they aren't white. That's a descriptive term. So most so-called whites are darker than albino, pinkish or even olive color, meaning that these are, guess what? People of color. Yes, so-called blacks and people of color, everyone is a person of fucking color or colored. Wow, that's humans for you. That's humans for you. We come in all colors, but we are over 98% genetically the same. We even have genetics similar to plants and, of course, animals. You know, that shit makes sense because we live on the same planet, share the same ecosystem. You know, most animals bleed red too. Any of this truth sinking into y'all? The colorism shit, it's super programming, man. Then you have the race betas of black culture like Umar Johnson and so many others. Oh, we cannot poison the black race by dating snow bunnies. You silly niggas. There's no black race. You're taking a lie, an old European one, like Negro land, and running with it and making money, triggering other people who have no idea you're spouting hateful and divisive shit. It's as dumb as white supremacist assholes who saying hail Hitler when Hitler would have killed their American asses. Look, all you Pan-Africanists and race-baiting so-called black people, as much as Dr. King wanted to advance people of black culture, the main ones being persecuted during the Civil Rights era, he knew that going to war against so-called whites wasn't the answer. It can't be, because even if we won that war, and I don't know, enslave all white people and make them work for blacks, those same white people would be plotting ways to overthrow their masters, their black masters. It would be the same shit all over again, because that's what happens when you enslave a human being. They don't want to be enslaved. They want to live, and they will form a resistance. That's not black, that's human. Look through history. Revolts are everywhere in history by every ethnicity. Slave revolts, revolutions. That's human, dude. Black supremacy doesn't work because it's color-based, meaning that it's going to leave out other cultures or people. And number two, it's based on a black lie in the first place. So how you think an Asian or a Spanish person is going to feel in a black supreme nation? They're going to feel like a minority. So-called black people, so-called minority. How does that make a man or a woman really feel? That shit ain't right. If it's not about human advancement, if it's not human supremacy, then there's going to be millions of people being second-class citizens simply because they aren't the right color or the right culture. We know this because we have the black culture receipts. Check the history of America, because black history and culture is American culture, same as Native American culture and white culture. We three go all the way back to the beginning, so we know where the nonsense leads, even as it starts. Look at the history of this country, y'all. I am a human being of black culture. Black culture is all the work my forefathers did, good and bad, but mostly good, to survive, to thrive, to invent, to empower every other person in this country. Black culture is not just made of so-called black people. There were plenty of so-called whites that were down with black culture. Any Quaker who saved a so-called black man was down with my culture. John Brown and any other radical who identified as white and believed slavery was wrong was down with black culture. The freedom writers were down with black culture. It goes on and on. So many so-called white people were involved. So many nameless ones who died. So many Jewish ones as well. So-called black people and black historians, I need y'all to understand, we don't have the progress we have today because of the actions of only so-called black people. We did not get here alone. So what does that say about black supremacy? The shit won't work. We did this together by recognizing our shared humanity. There ain't no black people. There never were. Even to call us ebon is still a descriptive term. We are humans of African origin. with the lineage that extends to the first humans on this planet. No matter your color, it's a good possibility that you can trace your human, not ethnic, not culture, but your human roots to Africa. The truth is, we as humans should pay homage to Africa, our motherland, our human wellspring. Instead, well, we strip it of its minerals and all kinds of other shit. Just shows to go we've a long way to go as humans, and I'm not sure that this incarnation of man is going to be able to make it. And after all, we still fight over simple shit like skin color. It's the programming, the color, that's the real matrix. You break that shit down to the one, what truly is real, our shared humanity, then you'll be able to see past the divisive shit that you see on TV and read on screens each day. White, black, Dems, Republicans, gay, straight, vaxxed, unvaxxed, woke versus conservative. And you'll shake your head and you'll say, my God, the programming, the lies, they're everywhere. And yet the truth, we're all human. None of that divisive shit is real. Because if the earth, the master, chooses to use the wind and rain, the storms to flood nations and cause catastrophic damage, all of those divisive terms will be drowned, washed away for long moments as we seek to survive. There would be safety in numbers. Some would help each other. Most would help children, and no one would ask, are you a conservative or a liberal? I can't save you unless you're a conservative or a liberal. No one's going to ask that shit. We are all humans. You better figure it out, because when it's too late, it's going to destroy us all. I guarantee you that.